All right, guys. So it's another week, which means it's time for another Moondrop product. And this time it's on their new Space Travel 2 True Wireless Earbuds, which I know a lot of people are going to be interested in because they only retail for $29. And these kind of prove it's surprising what you can get at this price point. Now, design-wise, it kind of falls in line with the other Moondrop True Wireless Earbuds that's been released. It has that same stem style design that does use touch controls, and then they have that same squared off case, basically like the Ultrasonics and the Blocks had, where it has that exposed top and it's kind of clear right up top so you can see the earbuds. Now, I did notice that some of the promotional images showed that Moondrop had a clear protective case that you could maybe buy to kind of cover this so that it's not exposed all the time, but I couldn't find this on their website, so I'm not really sure if this is something that's going to be available. Now, as far as the features, these do have Bluetooth 6.0. They also support multi-point connection. The only supported Bluetooth codecs, though, is SBC and AAC, so it's kind of standard. It's just basically like what Apple's AirPods support. These do have large 13mm drivers, but now it's using the beryllium plated dome instead of the titanium that the Space Travel once had. Now, another thing that I liked about these is it will automatically switch from mono to stereo mode depending on if you're just going to use one earbud at a time or both. So this is always nice for people that just like to have one earbud in and listen to things while they can still just be aware of everything going on around them. They're also using a new algorithm that's supposed to improve the noise canceling on these, which I would just say that I consider these to be good enough when it comes to noise canceling. Just don't expect anything mind-blowing. It's not going to block out everything, but you do have to keep in mind you need to kind of curb your expectations with these only being $29. They do use the feed-forward active noise canceling, so it's only using the outside mics. It's not using both mics like hybrid ANC because this normally will affect sound quality. But do also keep in mind that the noise canceling is going to eat up a little bit more of your battery life. Now, I will say that the transparency mode, though, is very good. You can definitely use these and stay aware of your surroundings or even carry on a conversation and not really feel like you have to take these out. Now, Moondrop does also have a new app. You have many different things that you can do, such as keeping, obviously, your earbuds updated. You can switch around some controls, although no matter what, you cannot get these to have volume control. You can switch between the noise canceling, the transparency, or just turn both of those off altogether. You do have a lot of EQ options with these. It even has some that are pre-built in using specific targets. You can also go in and just customize them the way that you want. And Moondrop also has this feature where you can go in and just use a lot of them that different users have submitted. You just download it and it just moves it over to these earbuds. So there's a bunch of different sound options that you can have. And then you can also go within the app and bump up the gain control. You have a low, medium, and a high. And I definitely recommend going ahead and bumping these up to high, which we'll talk about once we get to the sound. Now, inside the box, you do get 4 sets of silicone ear tips. They also include a USB-C cable, which you will need to charge these, and they definitely have improved the battery life because the Space Travel 2 can get you 7 hours on a full charge on the earbuds with about 31 hours using the case, where the previous version only gave you 4 hours on the earbuds, and with the case, you were only going to get about 16 hours total. So definitely nice to see that they boosted the battery life on the Space Travel 2s. Another thing that's nice to see is they have also improved their mics for phone calls, basically to do a better job of picking up your voice and just kind of blocking out your surroundings. But you guys can be a judge by listening to the test here. So I am outdoors doing a mic test for the Space Travel 2. It's not really like a windy day or anything like that. I do hear some birds off to the side and an AC unit over to this side. But this is really just to give you an idea of what it would sound like if you were to take a call in public. So now let's talk about the most important part, the sound. And first thing I do want to mention is I do recommend putting these in high gain because even at that, I still felt like most of the time I was listening to these at 100% volume. So these don't get like overly loud. They definitely get loud enough. You just kind of feel like you want another notch or two when it comes to the volume. Now, as far as the sound quality itself, I actually like the way that these were tuned out of the box. But me being a bass head, I did like to go into the options or the settings and put these in that bass plus mode. It just adds just enough of a punch, a little bit more to kind of let the bass be a little bit more loose. But overall, the sound's very, very tight. They don't let it get sloppy. They don't let it get congested. And it's kind of surprising, especially considering most budget earbuds usually bump up the bass to kind of give people the illusion they're getting this like dynamic sound signature. And that's not what Moondrop is really trying to do here. And I feel like the same thing with the mids and the treble. They're both really, really clean. There is like a slight forward approach when it comes to the mids, but it's not like overly aggressive. And I kind of feel the same thing with the treble. It's tuned where everything comes in really clean. It's really detailed, but they keep it from getting too harsh. Again, it's like they're trying to not have these be overly aggressive. And then when it comes to the soundstage and sound imaging, it's not anything special here. It doesn't sound like you're in this large concert hall. It kind of left me feeling like I was in a medium to large size room, which again, it's not bad considering the price tag. And it actually did a pretty decent job of being able to tell where different sounds are coming from. So my overall opinion on the Space Travel 2 is I feel like these are a hell of a value coming in at $29. Now, I do wish that they had volume control. The noise canceling isn't anything special. And again, I would like to have seen maybe another notch or two when it comes to the max volume. But at this point, it's pretty much me just nitpicking at a $29 pair of earbuds that honestly I think are fantastic for the price. And I have no reservations to just recommend these to anybody. I mean, as an extra pair of earbuds or even as your everyday earbuds, I feel like there's so many different options in the sound with the different EQ options that you can get these to sound however you want. I just feel like you can't get them to sound like a really bass heavy earbud. And I think that's just Moondrop kind of dialing it back so that they don't have distortion in the sound or have that distorted bass that some of the cheaper earbuds usually have. And maybe that's the same thing with the max volume. Maybe they're keeping it from having those drivers distort. And the trade-off is just getting a nice, clean, punchy sound, but not overly aggressive, that at $29, I really didn't expect to be in these earbuds. But guys, that wraps up my video on the new Moondrop Space Travel 2. Thank you so much for checking out this video. Thank you so much for checking out all the other videos. And as always, make sure to stay tuned for more.